enough. Of it already, and I'm going to continue on that save just so I'm not spoiling it all for you, because I always find the most interesting part of the game is the first few minutes, so I always find it better to just jump in a bit after the start. So let's go in. So as you can see, you've got in the top left corner something called ego points. You're encouraged to play it very much like Poirot. So, you know, the little things like the way you talk to people and whatnot, you should, if you lean more towards playing it like Poirot, you get more of the ego points, which obviously is some sort of little achievement thing. It's a bit silly, but it's nice enough because he's got a very unique way of being himself, which you may be aware of, obviously, if you've played through this game. Not through this game, but if you've watched the TV shows and films that he's been in, or if you've read the books, you'll know the type of character that he is, and you sort of pick it up quite quickly in the game anyway. I have no idea what these awards are, but I've got awards for something. Options, you've got different voices, you've got fairly limited though, it's either English or French, but you've got various languages you can watch it in, and you get subtitles, which is good. And you also then have choices for the controls, just to bring down the music a touch, to bring down the sound a touch, or to bring up the voice. And as you can see, you can change everything ever so slightly. So not lots of options, but enough options to sort of customize it a bit to how you want to play it. So I'm going to jump straight back in. So what's happened is a woman's been murdered, and I'm trying to figure out why she's been murdered, and also her drunk husband's just burst into the shop where I was investigating, and he's drinking off the fact that he's drunk, and that's sort of where I am at the moment. Not much has actually happened. Everyone's a bit racist towards Poirot, as is normally the case, and everyone's also a bit bad at voice acting, it would seem.
He's not in any condition to be questioned. I have to find a way to sober him up.
Poirot is probably one of the
priority is to question Asher.
One of the better voiceovers in the game.
The priority is to question Asher.
I can't trigger anyone else to talk at the moment. Can we establish? So, one of the things you can do in the game is you sort of try and piece things together like Poirot would in that sort of detective fashion. It's something that we've sort of seen in the Frogware games, Sherlock Holmes games, which you sort of piece things together to try and establish what's happened and why and get to your own conclusions. This is more about just figuring stuff out in your mind, so you get the clues and then you try and find a matching pair almost. So it's a bit more simple, and has less branching opportunities than Sherlock, but it works well. Two seconds whilst I adjust my headphones. They seem to be lying on my head a tiny bit weird. So just one rune to the back of the head. That's going to be that, isn't it? Moving on. So the body was found at 11 PM. Mrs. Asher was last seen alive at 5:30. She has just one wound at the back of her head. The fruit seller didn't see anyone in the shop at 6 PM. So I would say the matching pairs are probably that one and that one. Yeah, because even though she was in the shop at 6 PM, she couldn't necessarily see why it was that. So can we reduce it any further is the question. Trying to think. What about that? And that? Ah, I see. Interesting. I wasn't actually expecting to be able to make that even closer.
He's not in any condition to be questioned. I have to find a way to sober him up.
So I need to figure out a way to sober up a drunk man, and unfortunately I don't think they have an abundance of bread or lots of water about the place. Well, they probably have water, but whether or not I can interact with it is a different thing entirely. But as you can see, I'll go for a little walkabout so you can sort of get an idea for things. It looks kind of like your Broken Sword and your Walking Dead. It's that sort of cartoony cel-shaded look, which is quite nice. It makes it more accessible to everyone, really, which is definitely a positive.
Get your delicious strawberries here!
Dash! A puddle! How clumsy.
But yeah, that voice acting there is an example of absolutely terrible voice acting. She isn't someone you have to talk to a lot, but from the few times I have spoken to her, she has been...
This is a really cutthroat neighborhood. Anyone could have committed the crime.
She has seemed fairly terrible. Let's see if I can trigger her talking again whilst I look for some clues.
Dash! A puddle! How clumsy.
That's quite amusing. Just little things that...
4p a lettuce, a lovely large lettuce, 4p. Strawberries, 6p a pound.
God, your voice is so shrill and
I will
irritating.
not obtain anything else.
Okay, so I can't do anything else, it would seem. So what I need to do must be in here. Let's have a quick look at things. So in the notebook, obviously, you can look through things that you found from various people you've talked to and things you've deduced. It's a handy thing because the game lets you feel like Poirot, but at the same time, it also does a good job at just making you realise how good he is at deducing these things with little things like the notebook. So I need to find a way to sober up Franz. Could chuck him in a puddle.
Strawberries! Get your delicious strawberries here!
I'm going to go back in before I strangle that woman for her irritating voice. Part of me thinks it might be in case she's been made so irritating, but yeah.
He's not in any condition to be questioned. I have to find a way to sober him up.
To a degree, it seems like the typical English voice actors that you get in situations where people don't fully know what to do with the English language.
Red liquid is oozing out. Is it blood? No, it's just some strawberries that are losing their juice. They probably come from the fruit and vegetable shop opposite.
So as you can see, you can investigate things in a sort of 3D image way, which, you know, quite a few games have had these days. And you can also, if you really want to, go and use a clue, but I would rather not waste a clue at the moment.
Packets in a mess on the shelf.
I've got a terrible feeling that I'm probably going to just do it in a moment, because there doesn't seem to be an obvious way to sober this gentleman up. There's a book. Let's have a look in the book.
There is nothing more for me to learn from this notebook.
Just hit him with the bloody book, that'll sober him up. Yeah, my point about the voice actors is quite a lot of the time they seem like not necessarily an American interpretation, but an interpretation of an English person not directed by an English person. Which, you know, maybe it's not that, maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But that is how I've interpreted it. See, ideally, what you want to do is grab something from here, I
Mrs.
imagine.
Asher lived very simply.
But I'm not getting that choice at all. I can check myself out in the mirror, which is fantastic and all that jazz. But there doesn't seem to be anything to actually pick up. So, let's have one more quick try. See, there's nothing more to read. Read the notebook. Let's use a clue and see how this works then. Open the pause menu and select use a cue icon to turn on automatic help. Execute an action to provide you with an indication that helps you to progress. Okay, so it works like things like this. Normally. Why is it loading something?
Strawberries, 6p a pound.
Okay. That is
I
the
will
worst
not
clue ever.
obtain anything else.
How's that a clue? That's not a clue. You're just taking me to someone where he says I cannot obtain something. Tried to
I'll
pick
just
up
borrow your
before.
bottle a moment.
Take it. It's what Alice used to sober up her husband. But try not to empty the bottle.
Oh, white governor, it's me, a stereotypical English person. Okay, now. So that's annoying, because I'm pretty sure I hovered over that before, and it didn't flash up, but that is how point-and-click adventures go a lot of the time. Sometimes you think you've looked at something and clicked on it, and you don't.
He's not in any condition to be questioned. I have to find a way to sober him up.
Okay, so... So what is this bottle? Is it vodka? Because it looks like vodka. Oh, it's vinegar. Blah. Okay, so let's use this item on him.
Mes amis, I can say without a doubt that poor Mrs. Asher was killed between 5:30 and 6.
Killed when the street was packed with people. That's rather bold.
I've been talking to the neighbours, and...
No one's seen anything? Or rather, it's anything and everything. Am I wrong?
No.
Bien. We must grill this villain Asher before he falls asleep again.
So as you can see, Poirot is probably the strongest of the voice actors, at least out of these initial voice actors that we witnessed. One thing I'm a bit worried about is I'm already at 10% apparently in the game, and I've not really
This man
done
is
that
in
much.
rather a bad state.
So you got an observation that works similar to the Sherlock situation, but slightly different. You have to sort of hover around, and as you do, you can notice that little black circle form, and you feel your controller vibrating if you are playing it, obviously, on the
This
PS4.
man has been fighting and he smells of alcohol.
A console with rumble, controller with rumble controls. So that. Let's have a chat with him then. Now that I know a few more things to talk about. Let's try and charm him.
Care for a cigarette, monsieur?
What's that? Scented cigarettes? No, thanks.
Bien. I was trying to be friendly, but you are quite right. Let us get down to business. You threatened to kill your wife, and now she's dead.
So what? You shouldn't take things so seriously, sir. Nothing but empty threats. We didn't get on all that badly.
So, if things were going so well with your wife, why did you not live with her?
She was the one that left. Nothing to do with me, sir.
See, that's weird because he was built up as being a German, and obviously he's a German that's lived in the UK for a while, but you'd think there'd be a slight German twang to the way he's delivering his lines and not speaking like John Cleese. Accuse him of ill-treating his wife. Let's do that one.
Ah, women are flighty creatures. Did she run away with another man?
Flighty? You talk funny. One thing for sure, if my wife was seeing another man, I'd have given her a good beating.
Interesting. And what were you doing yesterday at the end of the afternoon?
Can't recall.
So I like that as well, that you get you're trying to keep them obviously on your side, and every now and again you'll get these flashes of how they are, and it's showing obviously the way, as I was saying before, you are obviously playing the game trying to be like Poirot, but at times you also see Poirot doing the things that he does and reading people well and all that jazz. I'm going to be nice to him.
Come on, my friend. Try to remember. It is important.
I'm really sorry, sir, but I don't remember a thing.
I see. But maybe you do remember threatening to kill your wife?
So what? You shouldn't take things so seriously, sir. Nothing but empty threats. We didn't get on all that badly.
And there's
Are
a
you
lot of
often
repeating
involved in
of
fights?
dialogue.
I don't know what you mean.
The truth is
I'm
that
going to try
someone
and get
gave
him
you a
angry,
good
because it
beating.
seems that being nice is doing
Beating?
bugger
No
all.
way. All right, he tore my coat and gave me a black eye. You see the state of him.
Very interesting. Who is the other that you struck?
Probably best if I tell you everything. Yesterday afternoon, I met Roderick Tanner. We'd bet on a dog fight together.
An illegal bet, naturally.
Yes, sir. Our dog won. Roderick got the money, but he refused to give me my share.
And you fought about it. What
Bit of
time was
jank
this?
with the animations there as
In the
well, as you
evening,
can
about
see.
6, I think. We were on the other side of town. You see, I couldn't have killed my wife.
It's a bit weird though,
Let us now
because
try and get our brain cells to work.
despite the jank and despite the bad voice acting, I find myself compelled to keep playing this. I've played quite a bit already. It's a lot of fun. The puzzles are interesting, and the actual detective work is interesting. It's just a shame. This seems like a very strong base work game. This is obviously the first game by the developer and the publisher of Agatha Christie's work, and there's so much to choose from there. It would be nice to have something that's easy for anyone to pick up, and they've tried to do that with this. They've made that sort of telltale game to a degree, but with the point and click quirkiness that people like, and having it so it's so easy to pick up means that it will draw in more of the people that like Agatha Christie. And there's a lot of people that do like Agatha Christie still, and that was proven by the BBC miniseries that had quite a good run, which is probably why they probably jacked the price up a bit more than they were going to, because I've seen this on sale for about 35 quid, which, you know, seems a touch high for something like this maybe, but just that's more because of the fact that you can get most games for really cheap these days. It's still interesting, and I've not played enough to really pass a final judgment yet, and I'm going to shut up and try to solve this now. So what was Mrs. Asher doing? Asher doing when she was killed? Body was found at 11 p.m. Cigarette pocket near the victim's home. That's relevant. That's relevant.
The murderer probably pretended to be a customer. He hit the shopkeeper from behind as he turned around to serve him. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
So what else am I trying to think about now? How do we explain the presence of the ABC on the counter?
The murderer deliberately left behind this ABC as a signature. The absence of fingerprints and the fact that it is open at letter A for Andover leaves little doubt.
Asher's alibi appears to be confirmed. All the same, I'm going to call and check that he did have a fight with this Tanner on the afternoon of the murder. You can never trust this sort of chap.
One thing is certain, Asher was a ruffian who used to beat his wife.
But he's not very educated. It certainly was not him who wrote the letter signed ABC. Let's resume, Hastings. We know the murderer pretended to be a customer. He did not kill her for money, that appears to be certain.
I agree with you on that point.
And the murderer left an ABC guide as a signature. Therefore, it's likely he wrote the letter.
Indeed, but that doesn't explain why and how he did it.
You are quite right. Why he did it is a mystery. But as for how he did it, we do know enough to try and reconstruct the events.
It's just thing. It doesn't seem like the voice actors themselves, for the most part, are bad voice actors. It seems more that there wasn't great direction towards them. They were obviously given a script and they read it, but they must have. It sounds like they recorded their lines separately, which means you don't get the gelling as well as you could. And that's what you get in a lot of mid-tier games, I know, but it doesn't stop it being a bit frustrating. This is cool. This is new. So
The
how do I
killer
do the
enters
reconstruction?
the shop.
See what happens if we
Mrs. Asher
attack.
keeps her back turned. The murderer grabs his walking stick. She turns around, he strikes her violently. He then places the ABC on the counter before leaving.
No, the victim has no road to the temple. And the ABC is not the same as in the crime scene. Let us think again, mon cher.
So you
The
can fail,
killer
and that's interesting.
enters the shop.
No works better than in the Sherlock Holmes game, where if you fail these sort of little interrogations and stuff like that, it just says try again in text and takes you back to the start. At least in this, there's a conversation to do it. So let's advance and see what happens.
Mrs. Asher turns around to greet her customer.
A terrifying face.
The murderer asks her for some tobacco. She turns her back to him. He seizes the opportunity to strike her.
Then he
He
turns it
then places
around.
the ABC upside down before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
I imagine this is going to get more complicated, obviously, as you go through the game, because that was a very easy one. Keep in mind that's also the first one that's appeared in the game of those reconstructions.
Asher has a strong alibi and we don't have any other suspect. But what was the point of this crime?
She had no debts. She gave Franz Asher money regularly. She wasn't owed money. Nobody stood to gain anything.
No doubt about it, the murderer is insane.
And I fear that we had not heard the last of him.
Fucking hell.
I hope you're wrong for once.
Bien, let's go back to London. If we hurry, we should catch the 7:02 train. Are you coming?
No, unfortunately, I have to talk with Andover police.
See you soon, then. Are you coming, Hastings? Let's go home. There's nothing for us here.
I'll take back my direction statement. He might just actually be a bad voice actor, or just full-on Amdram voice actor. But Jesus Christ.
Do you have any idea about the killer's identity?
The crime was committed by a man of medium height, with red hair and suspicious eyes. He has a slight limp on the right foot, and a wart just below his shoulder blade.
Poirot!
Mon ami, what do you want? You fix upon me a look of dog-like devotion and demand of me a pronouncement à la Sherlock Holmes. Now for the truth. I do not know what the murderer looks like, nor where he lives, nor how to set hands upon him.
What shall we do, then?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Do not be so impatient, Hastings. The killer will manifest himself soon enough.
I thought I heard the postman. Maybe there's some news.
I would go and see.
Animation style's not terrible, but it could definitely be better than it is. It's got that same problem that
It is not the right time.
most of these style of games have, which is just meh. Lip sync. Aha, there is a letter.
Dear Mr. Poirot, well, what do you think? I believe that I won this round. The end of our affair went like clockwork, don't you feel? But the fun has only just started. I would like to draw your attention to Bexhill-on-Sea on the 25th of this month. We're having a crazy time. Best wishes, ABC.
Dun dun dun.
The next crime will be in Bexhill. We must warn Jap to Scotland Yard.
Did the letter indicate anything that might help the police?
To be honest, I think we can already guess something about the next victim. But I need to think about it a little more.
I mean, it did say the precise date and the place it's going to happen, so I'd say they're two fairly big fucking things, eh?
Let us examine this more closely.
He's got a weird way of doing his eyes.
Certain characters in the two letters may have similar defects.
The eyes definitely do.
Yes, this eye is weird.
And the W's look like they do as well.
The W is not printed properly.
But is it only when it's small?
The W is not printed properly.
And the A
Yes, the A appears to be quite unusual.
is a bit odd there.
Yes, this I is weird.
I'm going to stick with the I for now.
Right, let us compare this with the other letter.
That's the main issue, really, to begin with.
Yes, the I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory.
The A one is also an issue. So, Andover.
Yes, the A appears to...
Yeah. I'm a
Right,
better
let
detective
us
than you,
compare this
Pryor.
with the other letter.
Just admit it.
That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory.
So the W's an issue in the second one, but is it an issue in the first? It is. There's the issue.
The W is...
That's what I like. There seems to be
Right.
variety in
Let's
the
compare
quizzes,
this with the...
which not a lot of games sort of have anymore when they try and do the point-and-click style. They seem to have an emphasis less on puzzle solving and more on character development and stuff like that. And it seems this has gone the other way and maybe a bit too far because obviously you've got some freaking awful voice acting, but it's voice acting you can at least deal
Of
with
course,
because this
the W
is
characters
quite
in the two
interesting.
letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Both letters were written on the same typewriter and show the same characteristics.
You surprise me, Poirot. You usually ignore material proof.
But there is nothing usual about this case, Hastings. Nothing must be overlooked. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. That's what my brain cells do when they're trying to work. Sort of sing a weird version of the Lion King song, apparently. Bad neighborhood. And she was killed. Theft is not the motive of the crime. Ah! She's called Asher. Ah, no, it's not that. It's something to do with A, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. Andover known as Asher. Oh, she's called Alice Asher as well, so she is A and A. So the next person will be like Betty Boop or something like that. That?
So,
It's hard to
Poirot, have you
draw
found something?
conclusions when you've only had the
Oui, I
first
believe so.
death.
But I am
really.
afraid it is not enough to stop the murderer. Let us go and see Chief Inspector Japa will explain there. I've finished with this subject.
I love how definitive he says stuff like that. I do not need this. Let's observe
Daily
this.
Flicker, June the 22nd, 1935. Battle over control of bank system. What will the government do for money? Andover, murder of a tobacconist.
It's kind of a shame that tobacconists have sort of died out. I mean, I know, like, people may be like, smoking's bad for you, but, you know,
Cool
nice
air.
tobacco is quite nice. You can't really get it in supermarkets these days. Everyone just smokes gold leaf and cries at each other. Let's have a look around. Let's observe this ABC. Ta-da!
Andover, Hampshire, population 31,200 inhabitants.
I'm curious, actually. Like, you can't change languages after you've started. That's annoying. Yeah, let's have a wander. Let's chat to this fella.
No
Let's look
doubt
at him.
about it. Hastings is going bored.
It may be time to go to Scotland Yard.
You can't tell what to do with your terrible acting. I will do what I want, and I will do it slowly because apparently I have one speed. I will pick up an umbrella. Okay, no, I'm just going to go Scotland Yard, screw it. That girl's cute.
It may be time to go to Scotland Yard.
Just sound less like you're reading from a script. That's all I ask of you, good sir.
To Scotland Yard, please.
That seemed like a fairly pointless bit to have. So go look at this letterbox. Nothing there. Ooh. You can walk slightly faster. Look at him go.
Like all hunters, Hastings has always been fascinated by weapons.
It just seems like, unless they're going to get used in some way later on, it should have just gone from the flat to this office, and it wouldn't bother me at all.
Alice Asher was murdered in Andover, the ABC killer's first murder. London. I really like this city. One thing is certain, you never get bored here.
But you always get poor.
Don't be so impatient, Poirot. You're getting preferential treatment. I've refused all other visits today.
I am acting. Beep
Japp
boop.
appears to be snowed under.
Boop beep. Okay, so let's see what I can figure out. How is he snowed under? Is it because there's loads of paperwork? The fact he's having coffee. Okay, tea. Forgot we're Britain. And the fact his phone's off the
Japp
hook.
appears to already be overloaded
Yeah.
with work.
Another
My
flipping
news
detective.
is not going to improve matters. Bonjour, Chief Inspector. I am afraid we have some bad news. I have just received another letter signed ABC. The next crime will be on the 25th in Bexhill-on-Sea.
Are you completely sure it's from the same person?
I have compared the two letters. There is no doubt about it.
I suppose you think he's going to carry out his threats.
I fear so.
Good God, Poirot. Bexhill is very busy at this time of year, and we have no idea who the next victim will be.
He just sounds like someone trying to do a bad Richard Ayoade impression, who is also then not as good as acting as Richard Ayoade, who can at least act. Murder is unacceptable.
I suspect that the name of the second victim will start with B.
What on earth makes you think such a thing?
I thought about it when I saw the name Asher clearly written over the shop door of the unfortunate woman who was murdered in Andover.
I like how
last
they've
month.
realised that they
When I
don't
received
have
the letter mentioning Bexhill, I deduced
good
that the
lip sync
victim
down, so they
like
just
the
gave
town
everyone
might
moustaches.
have been chosen by alphabetical order.
So it's an alphabet fiend. I'm going to have a list drawn up of all the people whose name starts with B. I hope there aren't too many of them.
Fuck.
Bien, we should leave you to work, Chief Inspector.
You have a few days to prepare yourself.
Thank you
It's
for
so
coming, my friends.
hilariously badly voice acted. I might have to make it French in a bit just to see if that makes it any better.
Japp, your call does not bode well.
Indeed, we have just found the body of a young woman on the beach in Bexhill. An ABC was placed on the body.
We'll be there as soon as possible.
To Bexhill. Why is Scotland Yard dealing with something in Bexhill?
Bexhill is a delightful town. It would be nice to come back and visit.
I do not entirely agree. Walking on the beach damages my shoes, and it hurts my knee.
So the years have not spared you, my friend. It's the same for all of us.
That is exactly what I said to myself when I saw you back from your travels.
Poirot!
Do not be offended, Hastings. I can see Japp waiting for us. And from his face, I would say that things are not looking good.
So let's see what the crack is here. Let's see if I can chat to a seagull. No, I can't. So one of the good things, if you can't be arsed walking, is you can obviously look about with your right stick, figure out where you want to go, and click on it. Obviously if you hit R1, you move a bit quicker.
How do you do, gentlemen?
Chief Inspector?
I fear your admirer has struck again, Poirot. We haven't yet identified the victim, but it's a young woman, 20 to 25 years old. Death occurred last night between 11:30 and 1 o'clock, and we found an ABC guide on the body.
Was she pretty?
Come on, Poirot, that's rather out of place. It has no bearing on the murder.
Are you certain? For women, it is often the most important thing. It often decides their destiny.
That's
The
a
body hasn't been
depressingly
removed. You can
accurate
see for
fact.
yourself.
Has the press been informed?
Not yet, but I'm planning to. I haven't yet informed them about the presence of the ABC guide in Andover.
Nobody has reported a young woman missing?
Not for the moment.
No witnesses, I imagine.
Who
Indeed.
speaks like that?
We've asked everybody
No
who may
one
have
speaks
met a
like
young
you.
woman fitting her description last night to come and see us, but I have little hope of gaining anything from it.
It's early days, Chief Inspector, and the news may not have spread around the town yet.
I hope you're right, Hastings.
I can't. I just can't handle it. I will come back to this in a second. I'm just going to change it to French and see if that's any better. So at least I don't understand French, so it's not the end of the world. If they're doing a bad job. Oh, balls, we're going to have to do that conversation again, aren't I? Ah! Ah! That was a very strange glitch.
Hastings semble mal à l'aise. Autant le meurtre de Madame Asher le laissait relativement indifférent, autant celui d'une jeune femme le trouble profondément. Je crains que cette affaire soit loin d'être réglée.
Mais enfin, Poirot, vous allez démasquer l'assassin?
Certes. Mais combien de fois tuera-t-il avant?
So the AI sometimes draws stupid paths, it would seem.
Bonjour, messieurs.
Bonjour, inspecteur.
J'ai bien peur que votre admirateur n'ait encore frappé, Poirot. Nous n'avons pas encore identifié la victime. Mais c'est une jeune femme d'environ 20 à 25 ans. La mort a eu lieu entre 23h30 et 1h du matin. Et on a retrouvé un ABC sur le corps.
Était-elle jolie?
Mais enfin, Poirot, ce n'est pas le propos. C'est un détail sans rapport avec le meurtre.
Vous en êtes sûr? Pourtant, pour une femme, c'est d'une importance capitale. C'est souvent sur ce détail que se joue son destin.
Le corps n'a pas été bougé. Vous pourrez en juger par vous-même.
La presse a-t-elle été prévenue?
Non, pas encore. Mais j'y songe. En tout cas, pour le moment, je n'ai pas communiqué la présence du guide ABC à Andover.
Lip sync's fine now as well, I've noticed. I hope to can be
Pas
bothered
pour le
to
moment.
re-lip sync for the
Aucun
English
témoin,
dub.
je suppose.
En effet, toutes les personnes qui auraient rencontré hier soir une jeune fille correspondant à son signalement ont été invitées à se présenter devant nous. Mais j'ai peu d'espoir de ce côté-là.
Il est encore tôt, inspecteur. Et la nouvelle ne s'est peut-être pas encore répandue dans la ville.
J'espère que vous avez raison, Hastings.
That sounds like there's more emotion there, things that you expected. You got the emotion in the parts that you'd expect from the sentence. That's definitely proved my theory, basically. This is obviously a French-made game, and it's a game where they seem to have spent more than effort making the French stuff work better, which would be fine, but it's a bit baffling because of the whole this being an England thing. I know obviously Pryor is Belgian, which is French speaking, but it's just weird, like it being an English set game and the emphasis not being on the English language. But let's have a quick. There's a crowd running about.
Hastings semble mal à l'aise. Autant le meurtre de Madame Asher le laissait relativement indifférent, autant celui d'une jeune femme le trouble profondément.
Wonder why it troubles him
Je
so
crains que
much.
cette affaire soit loin d'être réglée.
Mais enfin, Poirot, vous allez démasquer l'assassin?
Certes. Mais combien de fois tuera-t-il avant?
Let's go have a look. So we've got some
Une
rope.
ceinture de soie tressée. Elle
That's
appartenait peut-être à la victime. Ces marques ont été laissées par une corde ou un tissu tressé.
So already there's more things to be
Cette
spotting
clé
on the
est
body
trop
than in the
petite
first
pour être
murder,
celle de
making
sa
it
maison.
more
Elle
difficult.
ouvre sans doute un cadenas. Le guide est ouvert à la page des horaires de train pour Bexhill. La jeune femme ne portait ni chaussures, ni veste, ni sac. Étrange. Soit le meurtrier lui a volé ses affaires, soit elle les a mises à l'abri, peut-être pour se baigner.
I suppose the thing, it doesn't bother me listening to it in French and reading the subtitles.
Mis
I
à part les
read
marques sur
subtitles
son
normally
cou,
anyway.
il n'y a pas de traces de lutte. Elle n'a pas pu frapper son agresseur.
Plus the subtitles are done in a way that makes it very easy to read. You're not squinting and straining. You've got the black coming up with the white background. It's a reasonable enough size, which is an important
Elle
thing,
était d'une
obviously, with
grande beauté.
subtitles.
Curieux que Jap ne l'ait pas remarqué. Tâchons à présent de faire fonctionner nos cellules grises.
Victim was killed by the belt. But why she did not struggle?
La
Be
pauvre
strangled by
enfant a dû
surprise
être
with your
étranglée
own
avec
belt.
cette ceinture tressée. Malheureusement, vu la matière, on ne risque pas de trouver d'empreinte. Tâchons à présent de faire fonctionner nos cellules grises.
ABC guide and ABC guide. Are the crimes and end of workers say murderer? Yes, they are. Oh. Oh, she has just one wound to the back of her neck. Maybe it's not that then. Is it that? Because the press don't know. Of course, because the press don't know,
Le
there can't be
médecin
a
légiste
copycat killer.
devrait confirmer que la victime a été étranglée avec sa propre ceinture.
C'est bien ce que je pensais. Elle porte des marques de strangulation caractéristiques.
Avec un peu de chance, nous trouverons des empreintes cette fois.
Vous êtes trop optimiste, Hastings. Notre tueur est trop minutieux pour ça. Hastings semble mal à l'aise. Autant le meurtre de Je crains que cette affaire soit loin... Certes. Mais...
Okay, so let's figure out where to go. Let's look in this room.
Cette cabine est fermée à clé.
Oh, well, that's locked.
Cette cabine est fermée à clé. Cette cabine...
I get it. Is that one locked? Aha! That one's not locked. Thinking! I am thinking. I've got a key. That makes it much easier.
Un cadenas à double verrou. Il faut que je trouve le code et que j'insère une clé ensuite.
Bet the code's somewhere. Here. I bet it's under here or something stupid. So yeah, if you hold L2, then turn it. There we go,
La plaque est
715.
renversée. Il s'agit bien de la cabine numéro 6.
Okay, so it's 715, the number. So hold down L2 and rotate. 7, 1, 5. Then insert the key. Don't know how. Oh, there we go. Use square. Bingo. That's a fairly simple thing to solve, really. A bit disappointing. Door opens, and what is inside? There is a bag. And is it her bag? And it's her shoes.
C'est bien là que la victime a laissé ses affaires. Voilà le sac de la victime. Le porte-monnaie est plein. Une fois encore, on peut écarter le vol comme mobile du meurtre. À l'intérieur, il y a la montre qu'elle avait dû ôter pour ne pas la mouiller. Et un rouge à lèvres de grande marque. Elle aimait prendre soin de son apparence. Ainsi qu'une photo de la victime accompagnée. Elle pourrait m'être utile.
I've lost my little stick thing. Where's it gone? That's because I've hit circle by mistake. Let's have a quick look. What does that say?
Le premier jour de travail de ma
This is
Betty.
first day of work.
Maman
I'm
est
very
très fière de
proud
toi.
of you,
Elisabeth
Elizabeth
Barnard, 8 juillet 1931. Ainsi
So her name's
donc,
Betty
la
Barnard.
demoiselle avait bien un nom commençant par un B, et elle travaillait au Ginger Cat, un établissement qui doit être un peu plus loin sur la plage.
Jap est parti au commissariat. La victime a été identifiée. Sa famille avait signalé sa disparition. Elle s'appelait...
Elisabeth Barnard dit Betty, et elle travaillait au Ginger Cat, le salon de thé un peu plus loin sur la plage.
Mais Poirot, comment...
Peu importe. Vous avez son adresse?
Oui, elle habite chez ses parents, au 22 de la rue qui mène à la plage. Nous y allons?
Vous êtes trop impatient, Hastings. Laissons ces pauvres gens encaisser la nouvelle, et allons faire un tour au salon de thé où travaillait Betty.
I like how it's fine to go hound other people, just not her parents straight away. Who are the people that probably deserve to know first. Because surely there's now a chance that the people in the cafe are the ones who are going to know first.
Seraient-ce les mêmes bâtiments que sur la photo de la victime?
I'm going to say the sign makes it obvious it probably is. Follow the black spotlight.
C'est bien ici qu'a été prise la photo que j'ai trouvée dans la cabine.
Okay. Well done, Poirot. You were able to suss out that the Ginger Cat Cafe restaurant is the place that it blatantly is because it says the Ginger
Je
Cat
crains que
Restaurant.
cette affaire soit loin d'être réglée.
Stop being negative, Poirot. Let's get in there, chat to some people.
J'arrive dans 1 minute, messieurs.
It's a fancy little restaurant. Let's have a quick gander. Let's observe her first and figure
Quelque
out
chose me dit qu'elle est la propriétaire du Ginger Cat.
certain things. So glasses, no doubt. No. Cross. Strict appearance. Behind the counter. Something to do with hair?
Cette femme doit être la propriétaire du Ginger Cat. On dirait que quelque chose la tracasse.
Why is red hair making it obvious that she's the owner of the
Que
ginger cat?
désirez-vous?
She could just
Un
like ginger
chocolat
cats.
chaud et un thé pour mon ami, s'il vous plaît.
Je m'en occupe de suite.
I'm gonna go behind the till, am I? Yeah?
Quel dommage. Je n'ai pas de monnaie pour le faire fonctionner.
Let's see if I can find anything.
J'ai besoin de connaître la plage horaire pendant laquelle Betty travaillait seule.
Okay, so interact.
Cette page ne m'aidera pas.
Okay, let's not look there. Nice, because it doesn't say Betty.
Où est Betty?
Well, there's Betty.
Betty travaillait de 11h à 19h30. Aurait-elle été seule quelque temps pendant son service?
11 a.m. till 7:30 means that she would have been alone at 5 till 7:30.
Intéressant. Betty était seule de 17h à 19h30. Qui a-t-elle servi?
I'm not gonna find that. Is that in here? Aha, it is in
Ce
here.
sont les notes des différents serveurs. Lesquelles ont été rédigées par Betty?
Get different styles of writing for different people. No way to know until it gets later in the day. That's 6:30 p.m. So it's that one.
Certainement une famille. Cette note a peut-être été rédigée par Betty. Il y en a sûrement une autre.
So I'm trying to find ones that match that style. Which that one definitely does.
Non, quelque chose ne va pas. Betty n'était seule que pendant l'un de ces deux horaires.
Okay. So it's finding the ones that were her by herself.
Certainement un homme seul, amateur de whisky. Cette note a peut-être été rédigée par Betty. Certainement une famille. Betty a servi une famille et un homme seul, amateur de whisky. Peut-être le meurtrier. Ces informations vont
The
m'aider à faire
family
avancer
could be the
l'enquête.
murderers, to be fair. Like, families murder people. That doesn't make them innocent.
Enfin, messieurs, que faites-vous?
Nous cherchons des indices, mademoiselle. Je m'appelle Hercule Poirot, je suis détective et voici le capitaine Hastings. Betty Barnard travaille bien ici.
En effet. Et elle devrait être arrivée depuis un moment déjà. La ponctualité est la première des politesses.
Je crains que mademoiselle Barnard ne vienne pas aujourd'hui. Elle vient d'être retrouvée morte sur la plage, à une centaine de mètres du salon de thé.
Oh, mon Dieu. Pauvre petite. Que s'est-il passé?
Il semblerait qu'on l'ait assassinée.
Quel épouvantable scandale. Cette affaire va nuire à la réputation de mon établissement.
See, the thing is, it doesn't work that it's best to listen to him in French for the simple fact that the whole point of Poirot is he is foreign and people don't like him because of that. When everyone's speaking French and with a foreign accent, it doesn't. The point of Poirot doesn't really get across. You still get the whole problem solving and everything, but you're not getting when you get characters bitching about him being a foreigner or speaks funny and stuff like that, which you probably won't get much anymore, but it just doesn't work. But anyway, let's continue through this, and then I'm going to stop, I think, and leave a bit of mystery for you.
Que pouvez-vous nous apprendre sur Mademoiselle Barnard?
Rien, absolument rien. Mademoiselle Barnard était mon employée, je ne m'intéressais pas à son intimité.
I mean, the
Vous
lip sync's
saviez au moins
still
qu'elle
not
avait un
great.
petit ami.
Oui.
On a retrouvé cette photo. C'est bien lui?
C'est bien lui, en effet. Mais ça fait un moment que je ne l'ai pas vu.
Vous pensez qu'il pouvait y avoir des problèmes entre eux?
Je ne suis pas aussi familière avec mes employés. À présent, veuillez m'excuser, mais je dois reprendre le travail.
Don't be annoyed at me.
Le client qui a consommé un whisky pourrait peut-être nous en apprendre davantage. Il pourrait être le dernier à avoir vu Betty en vie.
C'est une idée intéressante, Hastings. Il s'agit peut-être d'un habitué. Qu'en dites-vous, mademoiselle?
Je ne pense pas. Nos clients réguliers viennent plutôt consommer du thé et des pâtisseries. À cette période, il y a toujours beaucoup de touristes qui ne reviennent jamais.
C'est bien ce que je pensais. Il est temps d'aller chez Betty Barnard.
Actually, I'm going to play a tiny bit longer. For a very simple fact. I'm also going to switch back to English to see how bad it is in English now that we've had French, and you can get that out. Just waiting for the little save icon, really. Nothing. It's very handy that they live very close to everything, isn't it? There's a little save icon. Okay, let's quit. Back to English. And then we will compare the voiceover and lip sync one more time before making our final decision on how to play through it. 29% I'm already through the game, and it's probably only about an hour and a half I've put in. I'm going to go back from here. That's okay there. I'm going to attack these seagulls. Yeah, I can't attack them. So let's see if I can do any sort of solving of puzzles, because that's the only thing I've not really shown off in this stream. There's some quite interesting puzzles in the first game.
How do you do, mademoiselle? My name is Hercule Poirot.
Or at least the first part of the investigation even.
I do not know if that is a compliment, but I will take it as one for now. You are Betty's sister, I believe?
Yes. My name is Megan.
Can we come in?
Please do.
So as you can see, the emphasis on Poirot being this sort of unique and weird part of Britain is made better by the fact that he's not got the same accent as everyone else.
My parents are at the police station. I doubt they'll be up to speaking to you later.
Do not worry. We will not bother them.
Did you know your sister's plans for yesterday evening?
No. I arrived by train this morning. My parents called me in a panic when they discovered that Betty had disappeared. She went out last night, but she didn't tell them where she was going.
What was your last conversation about?
Her new dress. She wanted a pair of black stockings to go with it. Mother brought her a pair. The very day it happened. She was crying. And to think that Betty never even wore them. Poor Mummy.
Okay, let's have a chat with this person.
What is she feeling at the moment?
Hard stare. Photo frame. Clench.
Betty's older sister is not just sad. She's angry. Did Betty go out often?
My sister wasn't a child, sir. She used to go out. She enjoyed films, dancing. She was a very good girl who didn't hang around with men. That's what they always say, no?
The pain is making you bitter, Mademoiselle Barnard.
I'm not interested in your compassion,
That
Mr.
was
Poirot.
far more bitchy than I
Très
thought it
bien,
would be.
mademoiselle. Could you at least tell me a little about Betty's young man?
His name is Donald Fraser, a very nice young man. Oh, excuse me, I have to answer that. Betty's room is opposite the stairs on the first floor. Feel free to take a look if you think it might be useful.
Okie dokie. So I'm hoping I'll run into a puzzle.
This young woman is far too clever not to have anything else for us.
Do you think she's hiding something?
That is what I'm trying to find out.
Surely you don't think she did it?
I did not say anything of the sort. But young women always ruin your judgment, Hastings. Who knows, maybe Megan was jealous of her attractive young sister.
I see. She may have had her sights on the inheritance. Or maybe she was in love with Donald Fraser.
We have to study all scenarios, even the most unlikely. But I doubt that Mr. and Mrs. Barnard are rich enough to justify murder. While I try and get Miss Barnard to talk, I would like you to try and find Donald Fraser. It should be easy to find the estate agents where he works. Bring him to the Ginger Cat. I would like to talk with him before the Chief Inspector finds him. This gramophone is magnificent. It is a one-off, without a doubt.
Any
Family photos and
observations?
files. The Barnard appear to make music a priority in their budget.
Which you can tell by the violin, the piano, and the tatty couch.
They're all Miss Modest, but the Barnards are definitely music lovers.
Yeah, great investigation. Let's go upstairs. Let's check myself out. How you doing? Let's have a gander at this.
It looks like Betty was also a music lover, the same as her family.
You can tell that by the music stand, the microphone, and the amplifier.
Without
or
a doubt,
whatever it is. Oh,
Betty
it's a
used to
metronome.
sing.
As you can see, each
It
area
looks
has a
like Betty
lot
has a
to
very
sort of
busy life.
investigate. It's all about observing to try and figure more out. But most of it's there in a fairly linear way. You're not having to hunt for it like
But
you
he liked
normally would in
luxury and
most
going
point and
out.
click games.
And being as pretty as she was, she probably did not have any problem getting herself invited.
And let's have a look
A
here.
box of new stockings.
It's a fairly minor thing. That's a clock. Aha, it's a
Something
puzzle.
on this clock bothers me.
So these are the puzzles that I found quite cool before. There's no point doing that really. I think I need to rotate the clock first. So as you can see, I'm probably trying to open that got a little switch up there. You've got a piece of paper here.
This wooden panel is blocked. I can't open it. This metal disc is stuck. There, that's better.
So did that solve the issue?
This wooden panel is blocked.
Nope,
I
that's
can't
still
open
blocked.
it.
Can I
This
rotate?
metal disc is stuck.
So that doesn't actually seem to do anything. Can I open this? Ah, I
What a
can.
strange mechanism. I don't think it serves to turn the hands.
I do like the idea that everywhere that I seem to go has ridiculous boxes and whatnot.
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
I'm not entirely sure where they need to go.
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels. The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
Okay, shut the fuck up.
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
And yeah, they have limited voiceover stuff sort of in there, which means that you often find yourself repeating the same lines again and again and again and again and again and again and again, which is obviously slightly irritating, to say the least.
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
Still can't do anything. What if I remove the wooden panels? Can I do that? No, it just takes me into that if I go to click on it.
The cogs are blocked by... The cogs are blocked by...
Shut the fuck up, mate.
The cogs are blocked by...
What if I was to remove...
The cogs are blocked by these...
Ooh, hang on a sec. Okay, that doesn't really tell me anything. There's no obvious tell here.
The cogs are blocked by...
Remove this anymore? No. Okay. So that's obviously not an issue
This
anymore.
metal disc...
That's still stuck. Is that still stuck?
This wooden panel is blocked.
No. So the only other option to things to look at is this up here. Doesn't seem to be a tell as to what needs to be done. If it opens up at 12:12.
The cogs are blocked.
Going to need to think of this logically. which is easier said than done. I mean, obviously what I want to do is remove this panel completely. Doesn't seem possible. Let's quit out. Maybe there's a clue in the bedroom that would help solve this issue.
This small key should be useful to me. I've finished with this subject.
So definitive.
Medicine to prevent voice loss. Did Betty have problems with her voice?
Aha.
A record sleeve with an handwritten title. Betty must have recorded a demo. I'd be interested to hear it. Looking at all the clothes she took out, Betty must have had a problem deciding what to wear. Maybe she had a date?
Maybe.
I have not finished inspecting Betty's bedroom.
So I would say that I've looked at more or less everything now.
A box of
That's a box of stockings. So it's all about now trying to figure out what to do with that puzzle.
Something on this clock bothers me.
So just checking what I did before was that to make it so I could open. Ah, it wasn't.
What a strange mechanism. I don't think it serves to turn the hands.
Let's observe the key. So that, and that are all things I can interact with. I reckon the key probably is going to be an important part, which is why it probably makes sense to try it beforehand. Either way, let's bring this back to where it should be.
That's better.
That's the key I'm looking at there.
The cogs are blocked by these wooden.
I know they are. But what would bring it up? Having it like that would do that for that, surely. And having it like that would do it for that. Ooh. Didn't spot that
This
before.
decoration appears to be firmly fastened. This decoration appears to be firmly fastened.
Is there anything I can do about that?
This decoration appears to be...
Maybe not. But I know that I can now look at that Aha.
This leg is not well attached. This decoration appears to be firmly fastened. This decoration appears to be...
So one of them isn't, which is that one. Which I can't use.
This leg is not well attached.
Can I break it off? Aha! I can. But I don't know what I've just done. Just done nothing to that.
This metal disc is stuck.
Not done anything to that.
This decoration appears to be...
So they remained fastened. So something down
This
here.
wooden panel is blocked. I can't open it.
Preserving the key, isn't it? I say we go into this.
The cogs are blocked by the... The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
Let's look at the chat and see what you guys are saying. Something that must make sense at some point. I'm just not hitting it at the moment. So I can't interact with the cogs because that just brings up the whole poorly fastened thing. But this is what I like about the game. There's a lot of different things when it comes to what actually goes on in terms of the puzzles. Some of them are just trying to read people and behave to them properly, and some of them are intricate, like mind puzzles like this, which take a bit, and obviously you can try and use hints, but that's not as fun, is it? See, these are doing nothing. I don't get what these are doing. What if I use my key?
The cogs are blocked.
But how can I get rid of the wooden panels? That's what I don't get. There must be something to interact with.
Strange. A sheet of paper is blocked in the clock. Strange. A sheet of...
Pull it out is what I want you to do, obviously. To do that.
This decoration appears to be...
Yeah, it's not the most exciting game, but there's not as many detective games as there once were, so it's a nice thing to be existing, definitely. It would just be great if I had a fucking Scooby what I was meant to be doing right now.
This decoration appears to be fairly...
So that's the one that I've interacted with.
This wooden panel is blocked. I can't open it.
So there's nothing I can do with that. Nothing I can do with that. Nothing I can do with that.
This wooden panel is blocked.
Nothing I can do with that. So use the left stick to move. Stick to move the cursor. Oh, that's actually giving me instructions. Let's use a clue. Oh, for fuck's sake.
It should be possible to open the wooden panel.
I'm such an idiot, of course. I didn't even think to look at the legs.
This decoration appears to be...
I feel like a fool.
This decoration appears...
It's not helped though, because where that happened is completely dark, so you can't actually see anything.
Look, a key.
So obviously you saw something fly off, but you didn't really see something fly off beforehand, just because of the way the lighting was. I feel like a fool. That was such an obvious thing to check. This is why I'd be a terrible detective. Anyway, I have this key, so if I use that on this...
The central cog is blocked.
Oh yeah, we know that. We know that information. Aha, but what if I use that on that one? Or that one? No.
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
I know they are, but I don't know how to move them. What do you want me to do? Let's go down to here.
This wooden panel is blocked. I can't open it.
Okay, so let's look at that.
This decoration appears...
Bloody firmly fastened bullshit. It's bullshit. Stop looking at the legs.
This decoration appears to be firmly fastened.
Okay. So it's obvious what I need to do.
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
But how do I get these wooden panels?
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels. The cogs are blocked by these wooden...
Because they're the two main things I need to move. But there's no tell what I'm doing, if it's right. That's the only real issue at the moment. So what if I do that?
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
Doesn't do it for that.
The cogs are blocked.
Doesn't do it for that.
The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels.
Let's try using the key on that again.
The central cog is blocked.
Screw it. Use a clue.
This code probably has something to do with the mechanism above the clock.
What the fuck? Where is that code? Where is that code? How was I meant to find that code? So 3122. So right, left, middle, middle. Seriously, where is that code? Is it in there? Was I an idiot and didn't look in there? It's on there. I'm a fucking moron.
This code probably has something to do with the mechanism
Oh,
above
nightmare.
the clock.
I should have looked more thoroughly. So 3122. Okay, so my understanding of what 3122 would be, it would be this. Yes! Yes! Okay, so use... Use... And... Use.
Ah, something clicked on the front of the clock. A new lock has appeared. What does it open?
Who has these things in their houses? What's wrong with you people? That didn't work. How about that? Does that work? Yeah, it does. So that's opened that side. I can now get this paper out.
This could be useful.
It better be fucking useful after all that.
Betty, I enjoyed a wonderful evening in your company, and I hope that we will see each other again very soon. D.
D for dick.
My dearest Betty, I know that your art is already spoken for, but you are the most beautiful dancer I have ever had the pleasure of meeting, and I am impatient to see you again. Adrian.
So she was courting numerous gentlemen, it would seem. How very, very interesting. I believe it is probably time to depart this house. Now, can I look in the mirror? Yeah, I can. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror. Because that's the kind of man I am. Yeah. Great hair. Okay, so let's see what happens when I leave, but this is probably going to be where I call it a day
It is
for
not
now.
the right time.
Okay, so I still need to see something, it would seem. I'd like to get this house finished, then I can move on to something else. How is it not the right time? What else have I not seen? There's nothing else in Betty's room. Oh, there's a key. That's what I need to use. And I would use the key on that cabinet, I imagine.
Family photos and files.
No, not that. How about this gramophone? Another puzzle! No!
Let us see. What is this cupboard hiding?
Who says cupboard like that? No one says cupboard like that. What?
This looks like solfège.
Please don't tell me that's
This looks like solfège.
a big part of the puzzle because that was crazy.
That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
Get the crank. And
there is bound to be a clue somewhere.
It'll be the solfege thing, so let's go in here. And it's going to be 3 dots, 2 dots, 1 dot, squiggle.
There is bound to be a clue somewhere.
So 3 dots. Two dots. 1 dot. Sorry. Squiggle. Can't change that one. Maybe that wasn't right. So I'm gonna just need to take a drink of water. Just bear with me a second. Oh wait, there's a code there. So that is 4. And I need to make 3 equal 4. So that's 2 plus 2. That's what I need. Come on, that's right.
This looks like solfege. This looks like solfege. There is probably a link.
Okay, so it does say that. So the squiggle is 4, so I'm doing that right at least. The upside down thing is a 1. Let's have a rummage about and see if I can find anything else. Nothing else there. Looking in the drawer. Jesus Christ. No.
It looks like something goes in here.
Okay, and that's going to be that. So let's use that.
That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
Oh shit, yeah. You need to put the actual record on there, don't you, to normally get music to work, you
That
moron.
doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
Ha! More secrets. No.
That doesn't work. I must have That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
Ah, screw it. Use a clue.
There is bound to be a clue somewhere.
How? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't match up to the legend that's in there at all. Because that says that 2 is 16. So how is... I don't know. That doesn't make sense at all. At least not to me. It's 1 plus 2 equals... Bizarre. I suppose that's the only problem with this, is you're relying on it to be probably a bit more logical. And maybe that made sense to someone,
I must have forgotten a
but
step.
it definitely didn't make sense to me. Shall we just lift that?
That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
Getting impatient now. Just let me solve this bastard thing. Oh, stop looking in that bloody drawer. Use a clue. Oh, so I wasn't close. But I don't understand how it's that. Because that plus... You're basically saying there's 16 plus 16, which is 32. Unless that should also be that. That's not what equals there at all. That's what I had before, wasn't it, at one point? These puzzles are definitely tougher than the last ones were.
That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
There doesn't seem to be anything else to do. So let's use another clue.
I heard the sound of a mechanism being triggered.
I mean, that's great, but I don't understand how that's done that. I don't understand that clue at all. 1 plus 16 plus 16 equals squiggle, but the squiggle is blatantly 4. It says the maths there. Bollocks. I get it now. Because 2 of them go into 1 of them goes into 1 of that. It's timings, not numbers. I'm an idiot. So let's see if this works any better. Does that work any better?
That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
It seems like a very pointless gramophone to have.
That doesn't work.
Shut up. Okay, so I want to obviously show you how to do this puzzle, but that's going to obviously be easier said than done. I don't really want to be using another Aha. That's new. Bingo. 00A. That's not helpful, really, is it? There we go. 00A. 78T. Yeah, 78T. Bet that works. So let's use that. So your brain's not completely useless. You just completely misread what the point of that puzzle was. 7, 8.
I just have to put the record on the gramophone and start it. That doesn't work. I must...
Okay. Interact.
That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
Come on, you just said all you have to do is put the record on. So, put the record on.
That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
You are a fucking useless Belgian detective. Use a gramophone. Do it properly. I obviously know I need to be looking at that front bit. Just let me look at that front bit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And that should be the puzzle solved. Just need to crank that. I don't just need to hit that, don't I? Because I've already cranked it.
Oh, Donald! We're in the middle of recording.
Sorry, Betty, but it's not wise. The doctor said you should rest your voice.
You're such a killjoy sometimes.
Betty was such a good singer.
It's true. Did she have any problem with her throat?
Yes, she had to be careful with her voice. Of course, she didn't follow the doctor's advice. If Don didn't insist, she... Well, it's too late for all that now.
So, after having a bunch of English people sounding like what you'd imagine in a non-English production to make English people sound like, it seems like we're also going to get Scottish people sounding like what you'd imagine a non-English production sound like, or just actually an English production sound like, because Scottish people never sound right.
She has feelings for someone.
I bet it's Donald. It's going to be Donald. No wedding ring doesn't mean she's single, to be fair.
She's looking so intensely at this photo. But is it really a sister that she's studying in this manner?
Yeah. Deduced it was Donald, like a champ.
They made the perfect couple, am I correct?
Yes, in a way. She was pretty and he...
Well?
He's a bright man, with a promising career ahead of him. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous. Oh, a true gentleman.
I hear a note of envy in your voice.
You must have heard wrong.
Bitch, I don't hear anything wrong.
You have not mentioned Donald's jealousy.
There's nothing to say.
I am not your enemy, Mademoiselle Bernard.
And you are not my friend either, Mr. Poirot,
Ooh.
sir.
Yes,
She's not happy.
but your lies are not helping Mr. Fraser, or you for that matter. I know that Fraser was jealous, but I wonder why you feel the need to protect him.
Protect him? I hope you're not suggesting...
That you are Fraser's accomplice? There is nothing to suggest that, at least not yet. It would appear that your sister's murder is the second in a series that we have to stop as quickly as possible. The first was in Andover, and the same as your sister, the murderer sent me a letter informing me that a crime would be committed in that town. Now can I count on your honesty?
Yes, you have my confidence, Mr. Poirot. Don is a quiet and sensitive young man.
The voice acting does actually seem to be getting a tiny bit better, it
and
seems.
as is often the case with reserved people, when he flew into a temper, he completely lost control. He could be so violent. Betty was frightened.
And when was this?
The first time was about a year ago. But they rowed more recently. Donald found out that Betty had lied to him. She said she was going out with a girlfriend, but she went out for dinner with a married man. It was
Lip
an
sync
awful
really is
scene.
terrible when you're watching it in English.
She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying one day...
Well?
He'd commit murder.
Dun dun dun.
Do you think that is what happened?
No, Mr. Poirot, I don't believe that. You yourself said he may be a recidivist madman. Don loved Betty with all his heart. I can't imagine for one instant that he would hurt her.
They just
Very
didn't even
good,
bother with
Mademoiselle
lip sync there.
Bernard. Thank you for your help.
Fraser is at the Ginger Cat. The police haven't spoken to him, but they want to.
Très bien, Hastings. Let's see him now. Au revoir, mademoiselle. My deepest condolences to your parents.
Of course, Mr. Poirot. And don't be too hard on Don. He's more fragile than he looks.
If you say so.
And that is where I'm
Let us
going to
now
leave
try
you.
and get our brain cells to work.
I'm going to do this a bit quickly. What did Betty plan to do with her evening? Okay, it's not that. I thought it could be. She had marks on her neck, so she must have known.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
I've already done that. Of course she did. Victim was pretty? No. Not just jealousy. I suppose it could be. And it's saved. And yeah, that is where I'm going to leave you with Agatha Christie's The ABC Murders. As you can see, it's a fun game, but definitely a flawed game. The lip sync's not great. The voice acting's not great. And animation-wise, we're a bit janky, but there's definitely something there. It's fun to play through. There's puzzles that generally leave you scratching your head quite a bit, and there's variety in the types of puzzles you do. My main concern is that it might be a tad short. As you can see, it's 36%. I've probably only put about 2.5-3 hours into it. I'm saying it's a tad short. It could probably be a 10-hour game. We'll have to see. It just seems to be progressing quite rapidly at the moment. But either way, I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast and hope it's helped you make some decisions on this game, whether it's going to be one that's on your watch list or whether it's one you're going to go pick up straight away. It definitely seems like something you should consider if you're a fan of detective games, just maybe not can get it at the full recommended retail price. Wait for it to pop up in a sale. Yes, I've been Brett Claxton. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Brett Claxton, and you'll be able to read my review over at pushstart.co.uk, push-start.co.uk. Yeah, I'll speak to you in a bit.